What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. I am very excited because I actually got my hands on pretty much all of the Utopia core. Well, pretty much. We'll talk about that a little bit on. There's one card I'm missing here now. I have a proxy, but it's a pretty good fill-in at the moment. But I'm only missing like one card, but I have the new Utopia stuff. I am very excited about this because Konami did not need to bring the Animation Chronicle stuff and the Structure Deck stuff all in one set, and they did, and it's pretty cheap out the gate, so I am pretty satisfied on this. It's a really cool deck. This is like the more spicy version. I might be building you a more standard version. I'm honestly not sure which one is better at this point, but I think this one was really cool and worth noting. I saw this on like a dueling book testing thing like months and months ago when stuff actually got revealed. And it's a really cool deck. It has some very low investment plays that get you really high returns, like 3-4 interruptions with follow-ups, and it like covers its ass a good bit as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into our main deck here. Starting off, we play our ZS cards. We have our triple Ascended Sage and our triple Armed Sage. This is pretty self-explanatory. They're really good extenders. If you don't know what they do, this guy can summon himself if you control no cards. This guy can summon himself if the only monster you control is a level 4 monster not named himself. And they also have a condition where if they are used to summon a Utopia-INVOKED monster, then on summon that monster gains the effect to either search a rank up magic card or search a ZW monster. So really good. They're kind of just +1s that are also really solid extenders. These are half of your 2-card combos when you draw them. So both really good. Next, I'm playing one copy of Astral Topia. You might be looking at this like, John, what the hell? One copy of Astral Topia? Well, here's the thing. Astral Topia is not a superior extender. It requires you to already have cards that get you to at least an Exceed monster for him to even be able to do anything. And so the problem with that just becomes that, like, yeah, this guy's fine, but you have to already open up a hand that plays. He doesn't contribute to consistency. That being said, the like ZS stuff, like if you're not playing the Onomot cards, the deck doesn't really have a great normal summon. There's no 1 card rank 4 or anything like that. And so he can be a pseudo normal summon. We have Rhoda in the deck, so this becomes like a searchable normal summon target for this, and this just gives you great utility because you can send any card from your hand or field to grave to add an Exceed, Onomot, Zexal, or Number Spell or Trap from your deck to the hand. So just kind of a cool utility card, but it can be an extender on like some of the more higher ceiling turns. Just a card I didn't feel was necessary more than one in this build. In the other build, I think it's probably better. There. And then for our like proxy, our fill-in for right now, I have double copies of Shade Brigandine. I'm not playing any other traps in the main deck, so this card's essentially just a free level 4 body. It's just an extender. I would probably be playing Astral Karibo here, but that was the one card that I could not get my hands on yesterday from the new set. It is what it is. Apparently it's a pretty underprinted card, so it's kind of hard to grab, and it's the only card out of the entire Utopia stuff that's like more than $2. And so it's super, like this stuff is super cheap, and I could not be happier about that. But just gets you another level 4 body on field, consistency stuff. And then for the spice. So the spice is that in this version, I'm playing triple Alistair, the Invoker. I'm playing the Invoked Engine. I felt like this actually meshed super cleanly. First and foremost, Alistair's a level 4. Secondly, like I said before, the deck doesn't even have a normal summon. Even in the Onomot version, like you have to, I don't know, the deck doesn't plus in the greatest ways, I will say that. And it doesn't have the best normal summon. You almost are usually using, what is it, the guy who looks like Utopia. He's like the mini Utopia guy. All he does is just pull all the Dododos and Go-Go's out of the hand. So he's not even a +1 at all. You have to plus off of your Exceeds. And so I think there's flaws there, whereas this card applies pressure immediately. Your opponent wants to hand trap this, but if they hand trap this and you just have any level 4 extender, then bing, bang, boom, we've already punished our opponent and got ourselves at least 2 interruptions through a hand trap. And we'll still have Alistair and Graves. You can potentially find Invocation later and punish them that way as well. So I really, really like this. I felt like this was a high ceiling, high impact normal summon, and that's one of the things the deck was missing, that a lot of people could just hold hand traps versus the other version and just hit your like boss monsters to make sure your boss monsters aren't doing anything. Whereas this deck threatens them early with Alistair to make sure that doesn't happen. And then for the bricks, I'm on one ZW Pegasus Twin Saber and one Tornado Bringer. I am considering playing the other one, Lightning Blade. I didn't get in the mail yet, but I also already kind of made the decision that this build, I was just going to go with the 2 for now. Lightning Blade's nice. It gives you like destruction protection on the monster it's equipped to, but Twin Saber's insane. If you don't know about this card's like crazy. So when it's equipped to a Utopia monster, once per turn while this is equipped, you can negate a monster effect activated by your on your opponent's field. So what's really insane about this is this doesn't negate activations. This negates on resolution. So like your opponent goes activate a monster effect, you go, that's fine, that's good nothing on activation. And then as they attempt to resolve it in the chain, you can just be like, I'm gonna choose to negate that now. So you can't be chain blocked. It prevents really sticky situations for your opponent because they know there's at least one monster effect that just like will not go through, and that's really cool. And then Tornado Bringer just kind of makes your monster untargetable, which is also pretty good. There's a lot of targeting stuff in the game. Well, DP is a pain, but you know, that's why Lightning Blade probably should be played. But for right now, I'm just rolling with the Tornado Bringer. But you could easily swap them out or make room for the Lightning Blade as well, so that you could potentially summon something like what it would be like 6,000, almost 6,000 attack, untargetable, indestructible, and it's got like 2 monster negates. It's crazy. All right. Anyway, moving on from that, we've got triple Ash Blossom and triple Veiler. Because we can play the Alistair variant here, I think you have a little more wiggle room as far as playing some utility cards. So just playing some generic solid hand traps to slow down the metagame. This deck can break through like a mediocre board, but a full-on board is too much. So I think you need some of these types of cards too. At least for game 1, have a chance at just keeping your opponent on like a mediocre situation instead of like a busted one. Which takes us to the spells. Triples Exoconstruction. This card is just too good. It's too important for consistency. I get it. It's technically a -1. You're getting rid of 2 cards in hand for 1, but it's targeted, so like it's important for consistency. So this card says reveal a card in your hand. If you do, add one of the following cards from your deck to hand, then shuffle the revealed card back in. So you can add a ZW monster, a ZS, a Zexal, spell or trap, a rank up magic, or a rank down magic card. So literally searches like half your deck. And also you have bricks. I mean, if you draw Twin Saber, if you draw Tornado Bringer, if you draw extra rank 4 material that you don't need, a second copy of Ash Blossom, any of that kind of stuff, and there's spells too you can shuffle back. But because it's just so good at just getting you whatever you're missing in your hand, I do like the card a lot. More consistency, 1 Rhoda. This is searching you either your Ascended Sage, your Armed Sage, or your Astral Topia. And I think that's it for the search targets there, but that's pretty good. The only way this would be bad is if you literally opened all 3 of those cards, which should not be happening. Triple Meltdown, well, quadruple Meltdown. Not even playing another field spell. You just trying to find Alistair, pretty much. He is the single most impactful card. Even if the rest of your hand is fully bricked up, you can still at least like threaten your opponent with the Alistair play, force them to have a hand trap. And if they don't, like, they're gonna have a tough time, because if you're bricking in this deck, it usually means you have like at least 1 or 2 hand traps in hand. So if you can just get to a Macabre with 1 or 2 hand traps in hand, like you're already like kind of cooking. So really nice. Then for the rank ups, I play 1 copy of the new one, Hyper Rank Up Magic Utopic Force, and the other new one, Rank Up Magic Zexal Force. They do come up usually in turn 1. You're only using 1 of these, not both of these. But I like having the other one for follow-up turns. So you can easily use the other one on a follow-up turn to like reestablish a board if your opponent was able to break through what you already had. But they're really good. They're both really solid. I don't really need to explain them. They rank you up into like your bigger Utopia monsters. I'm playing 1 Zexal Entrust. This is like one of those slightly better cards you could be searching off of your Astral Topia. It's kind of just Monster Reborn or reinforcement of the, or not reinforcement of the army, the other one, the one that adds a warrior back from grave, but it adds a Utopia, ZW, or ZS monster. Either summons it back or adds it back to hand. Pretty good. And then if it's in the grave and your life points are 2,000 less than your opponent's, you can banish it to add another Zexal spell or trap from grave back to hand. So pretty good. It's a nice one-of for sure. One double or nothing. This is just because we do play Utopia double, and it's not even really just for the kill potential. I also really like this because, well, one, it gives us that kill potential. It's like this deck can just end a duel real quick if your opponent's not paying attention. But two, this is a free card you can search turn one, and if you're also going through the invoke stuff and ending on Macabre, it means guaranteed you'll have at least, even if you had no other cards in hand that you were able to save, you're at least ending with double or nothing and Alistair in hand. So Macabre can be either a monster or a spell negate. And that's actually pretty important. That versatility comes up all the time. As long as we're not facing like a scary trap, like that's really, really clutch. People will not be ready for that. A lot of people like just kind of expect it to be a monster negate and don't always expect it to have more versatility than that. Double invocation, like it is what it is, right? If this card gets banished, you're in trouble if you only play one. So I like playing two, and also it gives you a slightly higher chance of punishing your opponent for hand trapping or negating the Alistair. There, utility, triple Forbidden Chalice. This could be droplet, but I just like Chalice a lot right now, and it doesn't cost $100 a pop, even on the reprint. So these are great. These are just great to me. Really great just playing into boards and like, you know, trading the like most powerful interruption on your opponent's board. One monster reborn. Don't need to explain this too much. This is just, you know, it's a reborn. Harpy's Feather Duster. This could easily be swapped out for something. What were we saying? Oh, if you're one to play like the last Zexal weapon and you want to play Lightning Blade as well, easily swap that in here and just side this. But it's a main deck out to Mystic Mine, like stuff like that. It's kind of nice. Woo. Excuse me. And the last card in the main is Called. The deck isn't super weak to hand traps. I mean, you can play through one hand trap in most of your hands, but Called is still really nice for the hands that don't, or to just have that extra interruption that you can set to your field. It's just so good. All right, so that is it for the main. 40 cards in the main. Really solid. I definitely want to test with this a lot. See how consistent we can get it and see what's potentially missing from the main. But the main feels close. I think it's close in terms of ratio. I just think there's like a couple of different slots we can change around, and we'll just have to see where we end up on that. Now we move to the extra. Now I will say there are a couple slots in the extra I am not 100% sold on just yet either, but still I'll show you what I have. So first, one Utopia. I don't think you need a ton of this because there's other cards as well you can make for rank 4s. One S39 Utopia Prime and one Lightning. These are just basic cards. This just gets you an extra material. For this, if you're going to try and make a Zeus play or something like that, this getting you the extra material can matter. One copy of Utopia the Lightning. This just helps you out certain things like Dragoon, right? Stuff like that, and just sometimes even kill your opponent depending on the situation. So just nice utility. But those two are definitely not set in stone. I'm not 100% confirmed that like those need to be in the list, to be honest. Then we get to these. One Utopia double can be used going second to OTK your opponent, but can also be used as part of a combo piece because this actually ranks you up into any Utopia Exceed monster. So pretty good. One Utopic Sage. This is one of the new ones. This card's really good. You can attach 2 materials to summon a ZW or ZS monster straight from the deck. Let's return. Yeah, and then it's just Banelinks for Exceed monsters who are light by banishing itself from grave. So cool card, helps you extend, helps you like keep the rank 4 body while also extending further into more bodies. It's pretty good, pretty cool card. Then for the big boys, all right, we have one copy of Utopia Dragnar, number 99, and then one copy of Ultimate Leo Utopia Ray. So Dragnar is really good. He pretty much just has a quick effect where you can attach 2 materials to summon, just cheat out a number monster between 1 and 100 in its name. You can do it on your turn, and you can do it on your opponent's turn. The one you're doing on your turn is always going to be Ultimate Leo Utopia Ray. Very strong when you do this. The only problem there is that you do need to have a material on Leo Utopia Ray to really get any value out of him. So you just want to make sure if you're going for this line that you're making Dragonar with Magiforce or Utopiforce, because this card says if, what is it? If an Exceed monster is special summoned by the effect of a rank 10 or higher Utopia or Utopic Exceed monster while this card is engraved, you can target one of those monsters, attach this to it as material. So what you'll do is you'll use this to make him, and then when you use him to summon him, that's when you can use this to at least get a material on it, because then he can get you really solid value. So just keep that in mind. Like, you don't want to summon him out because he doesn't really do anything unless you can get a material on him. Which brings me to my next point. Utopia can detach material to equip a Zexal weapon straight from the deck to himself. While he's equipped with his Zexal weapon, he gets a quick effect to just be like a permanent impermanence, where you can target an effect monster, negate its effects, and have its attack permanently. And also don't forget, if you're equipping something, if you're only equipping one thing, you're probably just equipping the Pegasus. So you'll have the monster negate that we described earlier and his impermanence effect just off of that. And then, assuming you made Dragonar with at least 4 materials, he can also summon Titaniclad on the opponent's turn as well. Do not forget, Titaniclad does not need materials to negate spells. So right there, you'd have double monster negate and a spell negate just off of that, which is really, really cool. So those are your main targets off of the Dragonar. Also playing the Zeus. This is mandatory. We're playing an Exceed deck. Play Zeus. It is what it is. And then for some like utility rank 4s, 1 Giant Hand and 1 Dweller. I just like these because this is like, if you can end on an extra rank 4, you're probably just going to end on this just to say like F you to whatever like graveyard centric deck you're probably playing against. Or you can go Giant Hand if you're playing against something like Flunders. Giant Hand's a little better than something like Dweller, right? So this is the lower ceiling one, but there are matchups where like this card is a little more useful versus as an interruption. And like Baguska's cool, but like Baguska locks you out of having any value from any of your other Exceeds. So I didn't really like that. I wanted something I could tack onto the end of my boards, but also just be my only rank 4 play if I wanted it to. So very cool. Then for the Invoke stuff, just 1 copy of Artemis, just mandatory. Just if I didn't open any extenders with my Alistair, I could still be able to get to a Makaba as long as I have that in the extra. Speaking of which, double Makaba just to be able to grind a little bit, and the invoked Algoides for later turns as well. So really, really cool. That's it for the main and extra. I really, really think this build could be the best build out there. I know there are going to be some other builds that are much more combo centric and like worried about playing XYZ change tactics. A really crazy card. I just think in this version, because we have so many slots going to the invoked package, 9 whole cards, like you're kind of taking away from your ability to really like make full value on the XYZ change tactics. Although I do think there are builds that can take like really good advantage of that card, which I might be building here after this one just to see the differences and really make a decision on which one I like more. But I do think this one has legit merit behind it. I think the synergies are really good. Also, don't forget, I didn't really explain it fully, but like Alistair's rank 4, you're going to make almost all of the extenders in the deck, because it's a Utopia deck, are light. And so once you make that first rank 4, well, by seeing Alistair in any level 4 extender, you then detach a material. It's probably a light, and then you're already live to like make your Makaba. So really, really good. And then I might do a video later on showing you a couple of combos of this deck, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I feel like doing. And I'm going to be pretty tight schedule-wise coming up here, getting into the holidays, but I'm going to try and keep content coming to you guys. But that is going to finish me off for today. Let me know any questions down below. Let me know any suggestions for the build that I don't have here. I'm especially curious about the extra deck. A couple of those slots, like these 2 slots, are not fully necessary, and I'm not even 100% sure on Prime or Lightning. I feel like everything else is pretty standard. Just Prime, Lightning, and then the Giant Hand and Dweller, I think, could be wiggled around as something different potentially. So let me know your thoughts down below if there's anything you think I could do to like just kind of streamline the deck a little bit more, kind of have more useful, you know, cards that are going to come up consistently. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video. Subscribe if you haven't yet and you want to see more deck profiles from your boy. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.